You read the title, we got to talk about this. Saw this yesterday, and this was retweeted, of course. This is Ana Cabrera of CNN. Yes, CNN. And she, of course, says, breaking, U.S. surpasses 11 million Modelo virus cases. It took just 6 days to go from 10 to 11 million. Well, for those of you that have not been paying attention, that's the new focus. Deaths aren't as high as the cases go. Yes, people are dying, but when you consider earlier on in the pandemic, if you will, the death rate was higher, despite it still being high survivability rate. It was, believe it or not, going up. The survivability rate, it had been going up. So what they decided to do was start focusing on cases. That's all everybody talks. So and so confirmed cases, this amount of confirmed cases is all people talk about. Look, this is not my opinion, guys. I know some people are idiot crackheads who don't seem to understand the difference between, or rather they conflate thinking that you can't take it serious with doing what they want you to do. This is classic fear-mongering, though. COVID-19, again, not my opinion, is not a death sentence for the vast majority of people that get it. And when I say the vast majority, I'm talking about the vast majority of you. The vast majority of you are, if you get it, you're probably most likely going to survive it, and you're most likely going to have to never go to the hospital. Again, not my opinion. Will some people go to the hospital? Yes. Will some people die? Absolutely. But it's not a death sentence. Yet we keep treating it like this. And the odd and bizarre thing about particularly this virus and how it's handled, why everybody focuses on cases, when you consider that we mass test unlike anything we've ever done. And not only that, the rapid test can be inaccurate. The PCR test can be inaccurate, where you could get a lot of false positives. So we're mass testing unlike anything you ever done. You can go get free testing. You can go here. You can get rapid testing, instant testing. No matter if you're sick or not, which most of the time you would only get tested if you were going for a checkup, your yearly checkup. If you go to the doctor, you only get tested for something. Or you were actually sick and you were having some sort of symptoms. Not with this virus. This virus, everybody and their mama is getting tested. No matter if they're sick or not. So cases. Of course the cases are going to continue to go up. Testing becomes more widespread. People become more likely to test. And then on top of that, you have to add in the false positives. So how much of those 10 to 11 million in 6 days or whatever she's talking about actually have the damn thing? I don't know. How many of those actually are hospitalized? Probably not most of them. But see, this is the thing. If they can give you something to be scared at, makes you a lot easier to control. You are seeing right now with this virus the amount of little authoritarians among state and your local governments, if you can include like your city judges or your county judges, and what they are able to accomplish just in striking fear. 99 survivability rate makes it sound something like you don't have much to be scared of. Maybe you should take care of your body, take your vitamins, start taking that more serious, becoming cautious where you want to be cautious at. But that 99% survivability rate among most demographics, among most age demographics, that doesn't sound scary. But what does sound scary? U.S. surpasses 11 million cases. Now, like I mentioned before, y'all do understand how far removed we are from the goalposts, right? If you don't, I hope you do. Cause you remember, back in my day, I'm from the era where I remember flatten the curve. A lot of y'all don't remember that. Y'all too young. Y'all too young for that, right? Back in my day, we used to talk about something called flatten the curve, right? And when talking about flatten the curve, what we discussed were, trying to keep the amount of people, or rather the amount of hospital resources are available, trying to keep that under, or the number of people that need them under the ones that are available. So the idea was always to spread it out over a period of time. So the number of people that would get infected. That was the idea. So you didn't exhaust your hospital resources and your hospitals didn't become, quote unquote, overwhelmed. But flatten the curve never once assumed that nobody would ever get the virus ever. No. In fact, the number of people that were supposedly going to be infected was always the same. So when people talk about cases, they are deviating from that because they are emphasizing the fact that people are catching it. That's what they're emphasizing, the fact that people are getting it. That's a goalpost shift. I want everybody to understand that. Because flatten the curve assumed that the same number was always going to be it was always going to be the same number. It was just a matter of spreading it out over time. But when you can focus on just cases and you pretend as if, people are catching it and that's the problem because they're just getting it, that deviates from the initial goalpost, which unfortunately a lot of folks have not done the best job of keeping their feet to the fire, which is why we can be so removed from flatten the curve to now we're just pretending as if nobody ever should get the virus. But again, 99% survivability rate doesn't sound scary. Can't control people based off of that. If they led with most people, the good news, right? Most people that catch this virus are not going to have any significant health issues. That sounds good, right? But you can't control people based off of that. There are 11 million virus cases, 240,000 people over the course of the last year, though we're entering into another flu season, by the way, have died. Sounds scary. That's why they lead with that. And those of us that have been paying attention since back in March, February for some, but it's particularly in March, I told y'all there was never going to be a temporary solution to this. Anything that they had did was going to be extended upon and expanded upon. Because that's how authoritarians work. They scare you. They use humanitarian efforts to control you, to give themselves more power. And as we're seeing right now, a lot of folks are being political pawns in this little chess game here. They're playing with people's livelihoods. They act as if there aren't. The people talk all day about the long-term effects of COVID, but they don't discuss the effects of, rather the impact of people losing their jobs. They don't want to take credit. They don't want to take responsibility for the mental health issues that are coming with this. Because you're shutting people down, you're restricting them from being able to do things, not because they don't want to assume the risk, but because you don't want them and you think it's your decision to make. They will never take responsibility for the suicide rates, for the child, abuse and that have gone. They will never take responsibility for that. But God forbid you're against restrictions, lockdowns, or mask mandates. Well, you want to kill grandma. You see, until people understand that, they'll continue to do this. And they'll always do it in the name of safety. And if you fall right into that trap and being scared of something, that's what it is. Look, numbers are being messed around with. Do y'all not understand how many people die from car accidents? Let's go to a more health related issue. Do y'all not understand how many people die from heart diseases a year? If you don't, don't take my word for it. Go look it up. And you'd be surprised how many people are dying from other things. Yet, for whatever reason, as death may be tragic, particularly to the family members of the people that die, the fact that we are putting people's lives, or rather their livelihoods, not on hold, you're ending it for the sake of trying to prevent each and every Modelo virus death is absolutely insane. They don't apply this logic to other illnesses, sicknesses, diseases. Hell, they don't even apply to other respiratory illnesses. They didn't apply to SARS. They don't apply to influenza, where we're going to give you this big ticker, right? And we're going to mass test, and we're going to include all these deaths. We're going to lump them together. We're going to give you somewhere where you can just sit there and watch the numbers rise. Could you imagine if they did that for virtually any other death, particularly the ones that die from other things like heart-related diseases? It probably will freak you out, but they don't do that. They do it for this virus. Until people start waking up to this, they'll continue to try to use these efforts to control you. But the cases thing, that's a gimmick. It's all a gimmick. Not to say that people aren't catching the virus. When I say it's a gimmick, I'm meaning they're using that as a means, as a way to control, to scare you into it. With these, you notice they don't speak much on. They only can speak on deaths when they can try to add to the tally, right? So 220,000 become 230,000. They'll talk about that. But they don't put it in retrospect, or rather put it not in retrospect, put it in perspective, give you the full picture. It's just, here's the case count, there's a death total, and just watch it go up, which is the only place that it can go. But they don't do that for anything else.